Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, we're talking all about AFC Group B from the June 2025 window, the final window of round 3 of AFC qualifying, so we know exactly who's eliminated, who's going to round 4, and who's going to the World Cup. This is a 3-part series. Today's part 2. Obviously, Group A was part 1, this Group B is part 2, and Group C is part 3. So if you're interested in my thoughts on the other groups as well, if you're just an Asian footy diehard and you want to know everything that's going down, make sure you're subscribed. Group A should already be out. Group C will be dropping soon. Now, round 3 of qualifying is over, and I'm sure there's some of you, some concerned citizens watching right now who are wondering, Jack, are you still going to be uploading Asian videos even though round 3 is done? Well, you, dear viewer, you have nothing to worry about, because not only am I going to be dropping predictions and reaction videos to round 4, we got round 5 after that, we got the Asian Cup qualifiers, we got the friendlies involving the Asian nations, and I'm dropping a AFC round 3 best 11, as well as probably a couple other videos that haven't been decided yet. So what I'm trying to say is, there's going to be so much Asian content here on DeadBall TV that you guys aren't going to have enough time to watch it all. And I barely have time to film it all. That's why we're doing this episode at night on the webcam. It is currently 11:52 p.m. and we're just now kicking off. So if you guys could smash the like button for your boy on the grind, trying to get you guys these reaction videos, that would be much appreciated. And if you guys know somebody who also loves Asian football, why don't you go ahead and share the channel with them? That would be much appreciated, and that would definitely help us grow. So as usual, we're going to go team by team here, and I'm going to start with Iraq, who finished in 3rd place on 15 points. In the last window, there was the 2-0 loss at home to South Korea and Basra. I kind of already talked about this one, man. I don't feel like it's fair to draw any strong conclusions about Iraq or about Graham Arnold or even about South Korea from this game, because as soon as Al-Khamadi gets the red card, the game plan goes out the window. The Iraqis are fighting for their lives. They do well to not concede until late in the game, but it's South Korea, and yeah, I mean, it's just a tough ask. So I don't think that, you know, Graham Arnold's a fraud or Iraq sucks based on this game. I think any people with those takeaways, I think that's grossly unfair. And then you had the 1-0 win away in Jordan. And I'm going to say, I think this is one of Iraq's better performances from start to finish. And I wonder how much of that is Graham Arnold. I wonder how much of that is maybe, you know, different players in the lineup, because Iraq, Lord knows, they love to change the starting 11. Or how much of it is simply a bit of a pressure release. Like the fact that they went into Oman, this game that everybody's been talking about since the draw came out. And it ended up not really mattering that much for Iraq's future and Iraq's destiny. And I feel like maybe that just like, okay, we didn't do it. We couldn't finish in the top 2 spots, but we're still Iraq and we're still going around 4. We're still in this thing. I felt like Iraq looked a bit free and confident for the first time since the Asian Cup. And I think that's a terrifying thing for everybody else in round 4. You do not want to see an Iraq in the flow state, because an Iraq in the flow state was one of the best teams at the Asian Cup, was a team that beat Japan, was a team that many people thought, are these guys going to make the final? That's how scary they are when they are confident in kind of just playing with some self-belief. And so I wonder in kind of my thesis on this and why I said that it doesn't matter for Iraq's destiny that much is because I think winning this game was huge, man. I'm really not one of those people that's meaningless games. I detest that. Every single game matters, especially in a World Cup qualifier, especially if you're Iraq and your journey's not even over yet. Maybe it didn't matter for Jordan. Still, I would disagree. You got to show out in front of your fans, which I don't think they did very much. But for Iraq, this is the last warm-up, if you want to call it that, before round 4. So you got to give me something positive. And I said the best thing Iraq could do after they lost to Korea is win in Jordan. And that's exactly what they did. And I think it's positive for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a morale boost, right? You're going away in a World Cup qualifier and you're winning. And you're playing well. More important than the win, you're playing well. I think there's a buy-in for Graham Arnold. You know, Graham Arnold, it is a risky hire, if not controversial, certainly a risky hire because we've never seen him outside of the Australian system before. And Iraq is a difficult job. And I think getting this win is like, okay, maybe the gaffer knows what he's talking about. A little bit of self-belief reinstalled on the team as well. And also, it's kind of like a blossoming rivalry in Asian football. Like, Iraq and Jordan don't like each other, right? Jordan is the team that just took the 2nd spot from you. Go out, punch him in the mouth, say that, hey, you got lucky this time, punk, but I'll see you next time. I'm going to take this dub in your house, and I'm going to walk out. And that's what Iraq did. And yeah, it doesn't affect them in the table. At least I don't think so. I don't know who's hosting round 4 yet, so please forgive me. Those details have not been released. There's a lot of rumors going around that Qatar and Saudi are just going to host it. I don't know. But let's say that it actually does go to the best performing teams, then it should go to Iraq, in which case it does matter. And I think you just gotta try to win every single game, man. I think it's a great step for Iraq going into round 4. I was thinking about maybe talking about some players here, but I don't really know if there's much to say. I do feel like Ali Jassim, we have not seen the best of him. We have certainly not seen his glow up like I was expecting. You know, if you want to compare him to some other young stars, namely Abuzbek Feyzalayev for Uzbekistan, we've seen Feyzalayev grow as the round progressed. We haven't really seen that with Ali Jassim. I mean, he was much, much better in round 2 when Iraq were slaughtering innocent Southeast Asian teams left and right. He was a beast in that. But it seems like him, along with the rest of the team, it just became too much of a powder keg in round 3. And so I'm still holding stock in this team. I think they'll be okay in round 4. We have to see the groups. We have to see who's hosting it. But I don't think people want to see Iraq. That's like probably the one team that everyone's like, please, can we get like Oman and Indonesia? I really don't think anybody wants to face the Iraqis in round 4. I'll talk about Palestine next. And I just want to start by saying, wow, that penalty was so cruel. Like, they beat Kuwait in the first game 2-0 in Kuwait City. And it was absolutely deserved. I actually think Palestine should have beat Kuwait twice. I think that's how I feel about it. I think they were the better team in both games. And then the draw against Oman 1-1 in neutral territory. 10 men Oman off a 95th minute penalty. And it can only be described as cruel. And I don't think you can use a different word no matter how you want to look at it, right? If you want to look at it on one side, totally fair penalty. Palestinian player brought him down in the box. It's still cruel because Palestine's World Cup hopes were diminished and dashed off a 95th minute penalty. If you look on the other side and it was a flop, if it was a dive, if there was barely any contact and the ref just, for whatever reason, blows his whistle and says, nah, spot kick for Oman, then it's cruel, right? I think you can say that this is a really, really harsh and soul-crushing call from an individual, from a referee, without, being super derogatory to Oman. I think those things are mutually exclusive. And I don't really think there's any way to spin this incident in a positive light. Now, can you spin Palestine's campaign in a positive light? Absolutely. I mean, I'll say right now, Palestine are the best team that got eliminated. Of Kyrgyzstan, North Korea, Palestine, Kuwait, China, Bahrain. Palestine are the best team that are not there. The eye test is one thing, and I do watch all these games, but even the numbers back up that Palestine were good. I mean, if you want to look at the goal differential of every team that was eliminated across all groups, Palestine's -3, Kyrgyzstan -6, Bahrain -11, North Korea -12, China -13, Kuwait -13. Like, I don't even know what else I could talk about. They scored 10 goals, which is the second most of any team that was eliminated. Kyrgyzstan had 12. The one big difference between that comparison is that Bishkek is the greatest home field advantage venue in Asia, and Palestine don't have a home stadium. They can't play games at home. They played every single game on the road, and they still were in it until the 95th minute of match day 10. Like, I said something similar about North Korea. If they got to play in Pyongyang, what does Group A look like? What does Group B look like if Palestine have a home field? I mean, Oman and Kuwait and even Iraq and Jordan might be quaking in their boots a little bit. Like, damn, this is not an easy 3 points. Palestine are not an easy 3 points. And I just think if they took care of business a little bit more against Kuwait, if they had a better showing away in Muscat, if Oday Dubog even showed up at all in round 3, I don't even think he had a goal in 10 games, man. Crazy. You can't be one of the stars on the team as a striker and have 0 goals in round 3. What could have been? On more of a positive note, I want to talk about Adam Qaid. I talked about him after the last one, and I'm going to talk about him again. Dude, absolute menace. And again, like, similar to, like, what would have been if Palestine played 5 games at home? What would Palestine look like if they have Kai for 10 games? Guy has 3 assists in 4 games in 1 start? Are you kidding me? Might be the most deadly set-piece guy Asia's seen since Keisuke Honda. I mean, there's so many positives here for Palestine. Like, you can't, whether you're like a footy nerd or just like a, I don't care about the numbers, I just watch ball and I just know ball, 4,000 ball IQ. I think both of those camps right now are like, how did Palestine not? What happened? And that's why I think it's cruel. Now, I'll talk about Oman in a second. Credit to Oman. But I'm not talking about Oman right now. I'm talking about Palestine. And my one concern for them is it's not a very young team. I mean, I think Kai is 23. I think Wissam Ali is 25. But, like, Batat's getting up there. Dubug's not young. The goalkeeper, I think, is also like 32, 33. I don't think the defenders are young either. I feel like this gen has one more qualifying cycle. I think at the 2027 Asian Cup, they're going to be scary. I don't think a lot of teams want Palestine. But how much longer can they keep up the momentum? I don't know. And again, that's why this makes this even more cruel. And yeah, I feel like most teams, maybe I'm out of pocket for saying this, are glad that it's Oman and not Palestine. Most teams in round 4, dare I say every team in round 4, is looking at Oman and they're saying, thank you, brother. We appreciate that. Because no offense, we'd rather play you because you're less scary. And I think that's just a fact. I don't even know if you want to. I don't even know if me saying Palestine are better than Oman is that controversial. I don't know if that's that controversial. I'll debate anybody on that. You guys can let me know down below in the comments. That doesn't mean I think Oman are trash. I just think Palestine are really good. And again, of the teams that went home, easily the best in my opinion. Oman are kind of the natural segue here. Got beat up at home 3-0 by Jordan before the 1-1 draw with Palestine. They finished on 4th with 11 points, 3 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses. And I don't know how to feel about these guys. I mean, they had the most losses of any team that qualified. Like, by most metrics, Oman are poor to average. There's very few things you can look at and be like, aha, that's why Oman's great, right? I've been very complimentary, and I think I've been very fair of my commentary on Oman. I think the narrative that some people have that I'm an Oman hater, I'm not an Oman hater. I mean, you probably should listen to what I said in the last cycle about Oman. I thought they were much better then than they are now. You just you weren't subscribed to me 4 years ago, and you don't know my opinions. But anyways, I think they're extremely organized. I think that's probably their biggest strength. Organization, they know how to play, they know their limitation, and they're cohesive. They communicate. They obviously have bought into Jaber. They tend to be clinical as well. I'll say that. I feel like them and Bahrain, I was kind of like, these are like the guys that if you give them 3 chances, for some reason they're going to score 1. Well, Bahrain kind of fell off with that in the last window. So I kind of think Oman is maybe the last one of those truly defensive Roman Testudo teams that can bite you in the ass on a counter. And they don't need many counters. And I think we saw that a couple times in qualifying this cycle. Again, they're not a bad team. They're probably the 10th, 11th best team in Asia, something like that. But again, respectfully, everybody wants to play Oman. Now, Oman could prove me wrong, and they could win round 4, in which case, huge dub. Again, I like Jaber. I like the manager a lot. So I'm happy for him. I want him to see success. And I have no personal vendetta against Oman. But everybody wants them in round 4. Everybody wants them, and everybody wants Indonesia. That's just how it is. And I kind of think for Oman, their dream scenario in round 4 is they get somebody like Saudi Arabia and UAE. I feel like that's the group they want. 2 teams that will have the ball, that will possess the ball, that will push up and at times have a high line, but have scoring issues and don't really have a 9. I think more so Saudi Arabia than the UAE. I think the UAE do have 9s. They just don't always play. Ali Saleh specifically. I think that's the way forward, and that's the way for Oman to make it to the World Cup, which that's out of their hands. They're not going to be able to control that. But if that's the group, they have a shot. They got a real shot because they will just make it tough and make it annoying with enough quality up front to penalize you. But I still think that the penalty call was extremely fortunate for them. And I would hope that any Omanis can admit that, like, wow, that was a pretty soft pen. I remember, like, when my national team gets a soft penalty, I've referenced this many times on the channel, 2015 Gold Cup. You guys can look it up. It's the most corrupt tournament I've ever seen, where Mexico, we basically advanced past both Panama and Costa Rica from nothing but pure corruption. Like, we were the worst team, but we advanced through corruption. I'm not saying, like, Oman advanced through corruption. I'm not even saying there is corruption, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you benefit from a shite call, and you just got to put your hand up and be like, we got lucky. I think Oman got lucky. Simple as that. Next up, I want to talk about Jordan, who finished in second, directly qualified to the World Cup on 16 points. They had the 3-0 win away in Muscat that I talked about earlier, and then they had the defeat to Iraq at home, but they were already qualified. Again, I'll speak on that a little bit more later. I do think it's hilarious how good Jordan plays against Oman. Like, I joked about in the other video that there must be some sort of rivalry I don't know about here, where maybe the Jordanians just have some real resentment towards Oman. Maybe something happened back in the 90s or something. They're like, you know what, we're going to get you guys back for this because they get up for this game. And I think if they played everybody like they played Oman, they probably would have taken more points here. The 1-0 loss at home to Iraq, I'll be very honest and concise here. I expected a better performance. And I think if the Uzbeks can murder Qatar in front of their fans in their send-off game, I think at least Jordan could get a draw. I think at least there could be more effort. I think it could be a little bit better. I know I'm being harsh, but I'm harsh to everybody. I'm not picking on Jordan. I'm not picking on anybody when I have these comments. I say the same thing about everybody, right? It just happens to be Jordan's turn today. And I love the Jordanian national team. I'm so excited to see them at the World Cup. They're probably my favorite debutante in terms of just entertainment value. So fun to watch. Top 3 attacks in Asia. That has been cemented. More on that later. But I do think that the last send-off game was not good. And I think Jordan needs to be very careful with one thing specifically. And I'm speaking from a place of ignorance here, fully admitting that now. I feel like this Jordanian generation is extremely special and cannot and should not be wasted. And I'm not saying that the Iraq game was a waste, but I'm saying, like, I don't know how many more times Jordan's going to be in this situation. And so I would have liked to have seen them take it a bit more seriously. I mean, Japan kill Indonesia 6-0 for crying out loud in the final game. Kyrgyzstan have nothing to play for in the final game and a half because of the Qatar result against Iran, and they play great. And they play well in front of their fans. It needed to be a little bit more. Like, maybe it's a small negative, and some people will think I'm tripping. That's totally fair. I know I'm like a football purist about this, but I was a little disappointed. And that Iraq game aside, I don't think you can say that this campaign was anything short of a huge dub for Jordan. This was going to be a really tough group from the beginning. This is not an easy group, man. Group B is stacked. I will maintain Group B was so freaking hard. And I would have said the betting favorites were Iraq to finish in second. I think most people thought Iraq were going to do it. I feel like me and Michael Talks Football, maybe a few others said Jordan, but I feel like the majority of people thought it was going to be Iraq. And so this is a successful campaign, 100%. And they almost fumbled it with 2 draws to Kuwait. Oh my gosh, I wish you could have seen my live reaction when Kuwait equalized in Oman on match day 1. I mean, I was like, dude, am I wrong about Jordan? Are they not that good? Did Kuwait just draw them? And then, of course, Kuwait go on to actually be respectable and Jordan go on to finish second, but they drew them twice. They could have fumbled this. They really could, but they didn't because they handle effing business against Oman and Palestine twice, get a huge draw away to South Korea. They played very well in that game. And I think they deserved it. At the end of the day, if I'm looking at the rest of Group B, I'm like, who deserved to go in after Korea? I do think it's Jordan. I really do. And full congratulations to them. I will be making a AFC Round 3 Best 11. I alluded to that earlier. There will be some Jordanian representation on there, maybe multiple players. I haven't decided yet. Some positions are fiercely contested, but there will be at least one Jordanian who I think is a lock in there. And the last thing I want to say is about the attack. How good are these guys, man? This goes back to my golden generation for Jordan. These guys are amazing, and this is why I watch every Jordan game, because I don't know if we're going to see this again from this country. I hope that I'm wrong. I've seen some promising youth players who I've tweeted about who hopefully can carry the mantle, but this is going to be tough to replicate. I was on the Asian football show, and I asked the guy straight up, I said, who's got a better attack than Jordan in Asia? And we said Japan and Iran, and that's it. And how often do you see, when was the last time a team of Jordan's clout level and overall power level, I'll be honest, and I'm saying that with all due respect, had a top 3 attack in Asia? Like, y'all, please comment down below because we couldn't think of anything on that show. When was another time that kind of like a B-tier Asian nation had an attack that was top 3 in Asia? I was really, really trying to like dig deep. Like maybe the UAE used to have one in like 2010. Maybe like I don't know, like did China ever have a great attack in like 2000 or like 1996 maybe? I don't know. I need you guys to help me on this because I'm sure you guys, maybe it's from your own nation even. Maybe it was Iraq at some point. Like, I don't know. I would love to know. Please do comment down below about that because I think what we're seeing here is completely special. I mean, like, check out these players in the stats here, man, just from round 3 alone. Ali Olwan, 5 goals, 1 assist. Musa Al-Samari, 2 goals, 2 assists. Mahmoud Al-Mardi, 0 goals, 4 assists. Yazan Al-Naimat, 5 goals, 2 assists. 5th most goals of any team in round 3. So good. So freaking good, man. I love watching these guys play footy, man. It's so fun, and the world deserves to see these guys at the next World Cup. South Korea. Ooh, South Korea. Conflicting campaign, isn't it? I think it's fair to say. First place, 22 points, 6 wins, 4 draws. How to analyze these guys? I think it's really hard. I'll recap the window first. There was the 2-0 win away in Iraq. Kind of hard to judge that game because of the red card. Before that, Korea were mainly defending, but I don't really think Iraq looked that scary. Anyways, red happens, and Korea, their possession ball, which they're very good at, takes over, and eventually they break down Iraq in the second half. What's weird about the Iraq games, obviously Korea does the double against Iraq in this cycle, which that is a huge dub. If you're a Korean right now and you don't think beating Iraq twice was a huge W, you underrate West Asian talent, and you underrate West Asian national teams and probably overvalue yourselves at the same time. I talked about this with Albert Kim. You can find it on the channel about South Korea in Group B. Jordan are legit. Iraq are legit. Palestine are legit. Oman and Kuwait are not layups. There were no layups in Group B. And so the fact that South Korea walked out of here with, 10 points from a possible 12 against Iraq and Jordan, huge, man. That is really, really impressive to me. Like, as a more of a neutral, of course, I love the Korean national team, but as a neutral, right? I don't have any blood for anybody here. I think that's a big thing. But weirdly, in these Iraq games, Korea scored both times after the substitutions happened. I don't know what the takeaway is from that, but both times they made subs and then they scored. Hung Minbo masterclass? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Egon in with 1 assist in the Iraq game. To be fair, I didn't talk about this in the Iraq section, but to be fair to South Korea, they should have won like 3 or 4-0. Like, Hwang Hee-chan was awful, missed a complete sitter. I think EJ Sung is a header off the post. It could have been a epic away win for Korea. And instead, it was just a very good away win for Korea. I mean, Iraq hasn't lost in Basra since 2012 or 2011. It's been a long time. It's not easy to do. And Korea did that. Yes, there was a red card, but let's not take away anything else from the actual performance. You still got to go and win. Just because you're a man up doesn't mean you guarantee the victory, right? I mean, ask North Korea about that when they played Iran. They were up a man too. Couldn't get it done. And then South Korea 4, Kuwait 0. Kuwait kind of rotated. Well, I don't know if they rotated. I just think Yusuf Nasser was not available. Mohamed Daham didn't play. And they murdered them. Could have been 8-0. They were fantastic. Egang was great. Hwang-in-bom. Is Hwang-in-bom Korea's MVP? He might be Korea's MVP. Anyways, Junho-bae, freak. If there's one guy I need to highlight is a beast, it's Junho-bae, man. Like, I think he was the man of the match, even with Egang cooking against Kuwait. Let me read you these stats, because these are insane. Junho-bae in round 3 of qualifying. 1 goal, 4 assists. Are you kidding me? 1 goal, 4 assists. That's ridiculous. Now, I know some people would be like, Jack, that ain't that much. Why are you getting hyped for 5GA? Rookie numbers, Ali Jassim does that in his sleep, right? What if I told you he played 238 minutes? Nah, like that's insane. He averages a goal involvement every 47 minutes. Like, stop playing with this, man. Like, Hwang Hee-chan who? Hwang Hee-chan who? Get Junho Bae out there immediately, bro. I'm done with the Hwang Hee-chan experiment. He's back to being that Korean guy. Like, get Junho Bae in here, man. Guy's a dog. He did pretty well in the championship this season, too. Like, oh, just class player. The fact that Korea can bring him off the bench is insane. Now, round 3 overall. I'll wrap up here on Korea. I'm going to put the gauntlet down and anger some Koreans watching. I'm going to give round 3 an A- grade. Yeah. I'm going to give it an A-. Let me cook for a second. Only 7 goals conceded, first off, which is great. Actually, you could even say it's amazing. 7 goals conceded with 6 games played against Iraq, Jordan, and Palestine. Do you guys know the firepower on those teams? Like, again, I just feel like some of the achievements Korea did this cycle are being underplayed. They were very, very good. Even Kuwait. Kuwait's attack, their Shaq and Kobe, are amazing. So do not disrespect them. I know they didn't play in the final game, but if they did, they would have scored against Korea. I promise you they would have gotten a goal. Korea would have won 4-1. So I think to concede 7 is a huge W. I'm also going to say Korea should have beat Palestine twice. Like, in both games, South Korea were the better team. I think Palestine were very fortunate in the first game against Korea. In the second one, maybe they were slightly better. But I still think South Korea are the better team in both games. And I think if they had a striker, these games aren't even in discussion. Now, they do, and that's we don't need to talk too much about a fantasy land. That's not real. But I do think Korea were the better team. I think they're the better team in every single game that they played. I don't think there was an instance in which South Korea were outplayed in this cycle. And, guys, they were the only team not to lose. The only team not to lose a game. Like, that has to count for something. As much as you guys don't like Hong Myung-bo, you have to give him credit for the good things that he's done. Yes, the football is a little predictable. A lot predictable. But he still didn't lose a game. When was the last time Korea didn't lose a game? Did they lose in 2022? I feel like Iran, they split the series. 2018, I can't remember. I'm going to check the record after I record this video. But I feel like the main concern for Korea is how they're going to play against big teams in the World Cup. And even that is kind of a nothing burger because, y'all, every single team has that concern. From everywhere, around the world. In Argentina, there is the concern, what do we do when we play the good teams in the World Cup? So even by saying that, I'm not really saying anything because it's not exclusive to Korea. Japan are feeling the same way. Iran are feeling the same way. Australia are feeling the same way. Mexico are feeling the same way. Brazil are feeling the same way. Spain are feeling the same way. Everybody feels that way because World Cups are hard, and it's really freaking hard to win them. So I don't think that's like a massive red flag for Korea. I do think their possession football is going to struggle, in particular against the stronger teams that have good midfields. But I just don't think it's been that bad of a qualifying cycle like some people think. I mean, Son Heung-min missed a lot of games, was not at his best. Hwang Hee-chan was, well below standard. Kim Min-jae had misses. I thought Cho was one of the worst goalkeepers in round 3. Like, I think if he had an amazing... If you took Yusupov and put him in South Korea, they definitely beat Palestine, and they beat Jordan. So they take 4 more points from this. Like, it is what it is. I think the Koreans are doing pretty well with what they have, and unlike Iran, I think they have solutions to their problems that are a lot more simple. I think Iran is kind of like fire the manager and pray. They don't have like a ton of talent to call up upon. They do have some guys, but not as much as Korea. I'm just trying to let's just chill out a little bit with some of the criticism for Korea. Like, are there things to improve on? Yes, of course, but this is far from rock bottom. I think the boys need a little more credit for this. And lastly, I'll finish with Kuwait, who finished in 6th place, 5 points, 0 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. 5 draws, man. Wow. The most of any team in round 3. Kuwait. Shout out to you guys. They were very tough to beat. I thought they were going to be the punching bag, and they weren't. But I'll be brutally honest, like I've been brutally honest with a couple other teams in this video. How many wins did they really deserve, guys? I know. I asked the hard-hitting, deep-cutting questions. How many games did Kuwait deserve to win? 1? Oman at home? I think they deserve to win Oman at home. Did they deserve to win the Iraq draw? Whew, deserve is pretty strong. I don't know if they deserved it. They were good. Did they deserve it? I don't know. Did they deserve to beat Jordan? In Oman, hell no. At home, did they deserve to beat Jordan? Maybe. I think let's just say it like this. They deserve to win one of these games. But that doesn't change the fact that this group was way too tough for them from the beginning. And I actually think Juan Antonio Pizzi and the entire Kuwaiti team deserve respect and credit for how difficult they made it against teams in this group. Like, Kuwait were not a layup. I thought they were going to be a layup. I thought they were going to have 8 losses at the end of the cycle. And they had 5. They didn't get any wins, but they kept every game competitive. And I think that in itself is a success for Kuwait, a team that barely made it in round 3 anyways, right? But the team is still not good, unfortunately. I really feel like Kuwait is Yusuf Nasser and Mohamed Daham being incredible individual players. And I think it's poetic as well. You have Nasser, kind of the older generation. I don't know how many years he's got left. And now you have Daham, who's kind of like the young guy on the come up, taking the mantle from Nasser. They scored all 7 goals for Kuwait in this cycle. Like, nobody else could really do anything. They're not really that scary from set pieces. They don't really have like a massive superpower except like very amazing home support and organization similar to Oman. Like, they're okay with defending. They know their place. They know that, hey, this isn't the 1980s anymore. Like, we're not that good. All right, but we're going to all put in a shift. We're all going to slide tackle, God damn it. And when we get the ball, put it up to Yusuf Nasser. Put it in the box, he's going to score. That guy had a really, really good cycle overall. Yeah, I think Kuwait's got some dogs, but just not enough to be super competitive in this group. And honestly, I think finishing with 5 points, I think that's a success for Kuwait. Guys, I'm going to end it there. It is getting very late here, and I need to go to bed. And then I need to edit first thing tomorrow morning. Oof, so much to do on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash the like button. If there's anything that I didn't touch on that you would like me to comment on, maybe I'll make a future video about, let me know in the comments. Make sure you follow me on social media so you stay up to date with all the latest releases, live streams, stuff like that on the channel. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.